Evening, guys. Hi. Hope everybody's doing really well. Yeah, Rob here for a roundup of just some vinyl finds that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks. The usual combination of um, buys from SJ Records, from my good mate Ben, and a handful of online buys as well. So I was probably buying much less online now that obviously the shops are opening again. Probably like a lot of us, it's always nicer to buy buy second hand. Usually, and obviously better thumb through vintage vinyl as opposed to buying reissues. A new vinyl from online. But here we go anyway. So my usual mixed bag. So I think there's about 10 here. And yeah, starting off with a handful of 60s stuff, some psychedelia and folk and so on. First one, lovely, lovely, lovely copy of record that I love. I've had on CD for a long, long time, but just never got around to buying it on vinyl. This is a mono UK. I imagine it's a first press or it's a very early press. If it's not, this is the Incredible String Band, and this is Tam and the Big Huge. So yeah, this is these obviously two albums. I think they were issued in America as two separate albums, um, and but more or less I think came out at the same time. This is certainly a single release from 1968. Got a lovely gatefold there of Robin Williams and Mike Herron in full hippie mode there. But yeah, I mean, particularly We Tam. This is just a fantastic album. Job's Tears, Pup is Mike Herron's song. I love that. I like Having Home in the Sky. You Get Brighter. Wonderful, half remarkable question, and ending with the fantastic Ducks on a Pond. And then, of course, the Big Huge. You've got the sweeping Maya, nearly 10-minute song from Robin Williamson there. And then the epic The Iron Stone, which is just one of my all-time favorites on side two. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic record. So this is obviously the two albums, both on this red Electra. Yeah, in pretty good condition. So haven't actually got around to playing it yet, but I sound very, very familiar with the album. So glad to finally get an original copy on vinyl of that. Okay, the next one I've been after for a while, but not. The first two albums have been reissued and are still available, but this is probably my favourite one out of the three. This is the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, and this is A Child's Guide to Good and Evil. So this is the third, volume 3, from 1968. Yeah, I think members of the band had already left by this stage. The constant being Bob Markley. He, I think, was one of the founder members of the group. But yeah, I mean, what a fantastic cover as well. Just really iconic cover with the black and white there. Love that. And it's a fabulous album. Yeah, 18 Over the Hill. Love that. World Rises and Falls, the Ritual 1 and 2. Slightly let down by the anniversary of World War III, which is just kind of 3 minutes of silence right at the end of the record. So yeah, you feel a little bit shortchanged there. I mean, obviously, you get the irony of it, but yeah, but nevertheless, fantastic record. And glad to have that in the collection. This next one I'd seen shown probably on the VC several years ago, because when I went into the shop on Saturday, Ben showed it to me and I recognised the cover immediately, but I wasn't familiar with the record at all. And he put it on, and literally within 3 minutes, I decided that I wanted the record. So this is a Record Store Day reissue 2 LP version of The End the album Introspection by The End. So this is a 1969 release. The original was. So this was a band formed in 1965 by Dave Brown and Colin Griffin on bass guitar and guitar and vocals respectively. I think various members came and went as the group went along. I think they finally did a tour with the Stones, and obviously hence how Bill Wyman probably got involved and ended up producing the album. Yeah, and it's kind of just grandiose, sweeping pop psychedelia. It's just wonderful. Really, really huge, kind of great production. Some great musicians playing on it as well. Nicky Hopkins on piano, and then Charlie Watts, obviously from the Stones, on drums. It's produced by Bill Wyman, as I've mentioned, but the mixing's by Glyn Johns. So obviously he'd worked with The Who and so on. But yeah, I mean, just wonderful graphics on this. Nice little bio on the inner sleeve. As I say, I assume that was first part was the original album. Yeah, lovely cover art. And then you've got these lovely inners as well. Pictures of the band. And then this Shades of Orange, which was I think the single. Yep. So just a little concert poster there for the original release of the album. Yeah, just really nice track listing as well on there. And then the second album is kind of extras and some bonus cuts, which I haven't got round to hearing yet, but looking forward to listening to that. And it also comes on this kind of translucent vinyl, which is nice. Not that I'm ever particularly bothered about coloured vinyl, but nice kind of custom labels there. And yeah, pleased to get that, because it's. He told me a story actually that one of the members of the band actually came into the shop, and this album was just because it just disappeared. It wasn't. I don't think it was like a lot of these records. It wasn't promoted particularly well, even given the fact that they were touring with the Stones, and it just sunk like a stone. Pardon the pun. Yeah, even the guy in the band didn't have an original copy. Ben asked him, he says, "Well, have you got a copy of the record?" And he says, "No." He says, "I couldn't afford one because they're that rare." So yeah, it comes to something when you're an actual member of the band and you can't even afford to buy a copy of your own record. So yeah. Okay, so sticking with the kind of pop psych, managed to pick this up. This was really cheap. This is David McWilliams. So this is David McWilliams, kind of vocalist, guitarist, who I think his famous song was "The Days of Pearly Spencer." This is his third album called Volume 3 on this lovely Major Minor label. And yeah, this is really nice. It's very kind of orchestrated pop, quite slick. He's got a great voice. I didn't really know any of the songs, but they're all his own compositions. And yeah, so yeah, 6 foot tall Irishman. Yeah, didn't really know an awful lot about him. But there's a nice little bit of bio on the back about him. So yeah, as I say, I knew the Days of Pearly Spencer, which isn't on this. But yeah, I saw this and thought, well, it's worth picking up. And yeah, it's a nice listen. Okay, this one I had sort of on approval. So Ben told me I could take this back to give it a listen. And yeah, very, very pleased with this one. And this is definitely a keeper. This is Marianne Faithfull's second album, Come My Way. Based on that lovely original Decca label. And yeah, this is basically an album of folk songs. By all accounts, it's her most sought after record. I'd never heard it before. I was obviously, I know sort of, as Tears Go By, and obviously the Mick Jagger connection. And I have heard some of her later stuff like Broken English and so on. But this was new to me. But yeah, I mean, she's just, unlike the kind of broken, kind of gruff, kind of, very dark kind of vocals of her later material. This is really quite light and upbeat, and she sings beautifully on this record, and does some lovely renditions of some traditional songs. House of the Rising Sun, yada yada. Yeah, they all did. Everybody, the Dog did a version of that in the 60s, didn't they? Bells of Freedom, Once I Had a Sweetheart, lovely version of that. Got a pentangle version of that, which is really nice. Yeah, the title track, Come My Way, is lovely. A reading of the Jabberwock, which is quite amusing as well. So yeah, a little bit of variety on here. Lovely mono pressing. So although it's a bit crackly in places because it's 55 years old, but yeah, it plays nice, doesn't skip, and was a very enjoyable listen. So yeah, I'll definitely be keeping that one. So Ben, I owe you a tenner. Okay, changing it up completely. This is actually no, I won't do that one. Do this one next. When I see Moody Blues records, I usually pick them up, but they're not always in great condition. But I saw this one, and this one was in pretty good nick. So I had to pick it up, and it was very cheap. This is The Question of Balance. So I think this is their 5th album from 1970. Yeah, obviously the title track, The Question. Tide Rushes In. Really nice songs actually on this record. It's one of their albums I've never actually heard. So it's on that their label, I think, that Threshold label. That's the gatefold there. And comes with this kind of lyric sheet poster, which looks absolutely immaculate. It looks like it's never been taken out of the sleeve. So yeah, pleased to pick that up, and yeah, it's a nice listen. Okay, completely different now from the early 80s. This is a Jamaican reggae band that I always enjoy. Um, Not sure this is their second or third album. This is Black Uhuru and their album Red. Some custom island label. This is, yeah, usual musicians, suspects on this one: Sly Dunbar, Robbie Shakespeare. So wonderful musicianship, great songs, and lovely, lovely production. Sounds wonderful, really lively, and sort of jumps out the speakers. Um, with that fantastic sort of wonderful throbbing bass that you get with this kind of late 70s, early 80s kind of roots reggae. Really enjoyable. Yeah, so happy to pick that up. Okay, and the last three are just reissues that I got through Amazon. So this is an album that I used to have back in the day. Don't know why I got rid of it, but got purged at some stage, and then I listened to it again and decided I wanted it back in the collection. This is Tangerine Dream and Stratosphere. So this is 1976 release. Nice gatefold there. Photo which I think is taken by Monique, who's Edgar Froese's wife, and I think is traditional for 1970s Tangerine Dream albums of this era. Edgar always used to put a little picture of his son on there, which usually appears somewhere in the photos. So yeah, and this is a really nice kind of ambient sort of analog sequenced album. The usual kind of standard fare that you get from Tangerine Dream. Very relaxing, very nice, musical, atmospheric. Yeah, really enjoyable. So glad to get that back in the collection. Last two from a band that I never used to really like particularly, and I just kind of overlooked them in the 80s really when they were really big. But I've been recently watching documentaries and so on, and really wanting to kind of investigate their album, their records again. So this is the Smiths, and this is a reissue of The Queen is Dead. This is a great album. Really, really enjoyed this. So yeah, 1986. I think it was their third or fourth record, was it? I'm sure somebody will correct me on that. But yeah, it's generally, I think, cited to be their best. The title track's wonderful. Cemetery Gates, I love. Singles, Big Mouth Strikes Again, Boy with a Thorn in His Side. I mean, his lyrics are just fantastic. Just his observations and just championing the ordinary and turning it into such just great poetry in its own right, regardless of the fantastic musicianship of Johnny Marr on the guitar and so on. And yeah, I mean, I get it. I can see why they're revered and why they're such an important band. I also got this because this has a lot of their singles and the sort of Peel Sessions B-sides and so on. This is Hatful of Hollow from 1984, so quite an early one. This doesn't sound particularly good. I might actually look out for an original copy of this. It's a little bit quiet, it's mastered quite low. You sometimes get this with reissues, which is a bit annoying, but it was really cheap. So I was happy to pick it up. So yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, got got a few more hopefully coming at the weekend, and I've got another one in the post coming tomorrow, another record. So Yeah, I'll probably do another update Saturday, if not the following week, and but hopefully do another video in the meantime. So anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you all very soon. Cheers, guys. All the best. Bye bye. Take care.